Level 1. You lace up premium Nike sneakers. You drop a cartridge into the newest Nintendo console. You memorize Chicago Bulls statistics. Your classmates in Switzerland know you as Paco In. You are just an awkward kid. But the freedom is a lie. Every time you leave the basketball court, men in sharp suits watch from the shadows. Elite North Korean intelligence agents track your every breath. The European air feels light, but the invisible cage around you is made of steel. Back home, your blood is a weapon. The Kim family does not run a government. They operate a ruthless, state-mandated religion. Under the Yushe ideology, you are not a politician. You are a mythical figure born from the holy peaks of Mount Paquet. To 26 million isolated citizens, your bloodline consists of literal deities. They do not cast ballots for you. They bow their heads and pray to you. You were never supposed to wear the crown. You were the backup plan. Your eldest brother ruins his chance permanently. He gets caught at an airport clutching a forged Dominican passport. His destination was Tokyo Disneyland. He brings humiliating international shame to the godly bloodline. The succession skips him entirely. The weight of the throne falls to you. At exactly 8 years old, state officials dress you in a custom general's uniform. You walk into a silent room. Battle-hardened military men in their 60s immediately drop to their knees. They press their foreheads to the floor. Your childhood ends instantly. Your fate is sealed. Level 2. You turn 17. The Western world abruptly shuts off. Security forces drag you back to Pyongyang. The Swiss Alps vanish, replaced by the towering concrete walls of the Kim Il-sung Military University. You do not study international diplomacy. You do not learn modern economics. Instructors drill you on the brutal mechanics of state terror. You memorize the architecture of political prison camps. You master the deployment of absolute crushing surveillance. Your curriculum is paranoia. Your textbook is control. A supreme leader cannot look like a normal 20-something. The state violently strips away your remaining individuality. You sit down for endless heavy meals. Minders force you onto a massive, high-calorie diet. You gorge on rich, fatty foods until your body physically expands. The goal is not health. The goal is psychological warfare. State barbers shave the sides of your head. They sculpt the exact, rigid, blocky haircut of your revered grandfather. They name it the ambition style. You stare into the mirror. The Swiss teenager is completely erased. You are a manufactured clone designed to project divine authority. Your own flesh is reshaped to trigger blind, generational obedience. Your father senses his own end approaching. He demands proof of your ruthlessness before surrendering the throne. He hands you absolute command of the Boabu. You are now the head of the state secret police. You sit alone in dark rooms, listening to audio static. You order agents to plant hidden wiretaps inside the bedrooms of elite military commanders. You actively monitor the exact same generals who press their foreheads to the floor for you. You listen to how they whisper in the dark. You document their hidden secrets. You realize loyalty is a temporary myth. Everyone is a potential threat. You weaponize fear directly against your own inner circle. The power is pure and intoxicating. You hold the lives of the most dangerous men in your bare hands. Level 3. Snow falls in December 2011. A massive heart attack kills your father. You do not just take power. You enforce immediate theatrical terror. You drag the entire population out into the freezing streets. State media broadcasts endless footage of millions screaming and weeping hysterically. But this is not organic sorrow. This is a survival mechanism. Elite intelligence agents silently patrol the throngs of citizens. They watch faces closely. If a citizen fails to cry hard enough, they are flagged. If their grief looks manufactured, they are pulled from the crowd. Entire families quietly disappear into the night simply because they did not sob loudly enough. You weaponize their tears. You establish your dominance through state-mandated hysteria. At exactly 27 years old, you inherit a starving, nuclear-armed nation. The old guard generals smile at you during ceremonies. Behind your back, they view the new supreme leader as an obese, naive child playing dress-up. Your own uncle, Jang Song-thek, stands directly behind the throne. He is the second most powerful man in the country. He controls the incredibly lucrative underground coal exports flowing to China. He waits patiently in the shadows. He plans to turn you into a silent, obedient puppet. You strike first. To survive the power vacuum, you execute a brutal medieval purge designed to permanently paralyze the elites. You target your uncle. You do not use quiet poison. You demand a very public spectacle. You have heavily armed state guards storm a live televised political broadcast. They physically drag your uncle out of his seat in front of the entire terrified nation. He is swiftly executed. You do not stop there. You turn your gaze to your Minister of Defense. He commits the ultimate treason of falling asleep during one of your military rallies. You do not order a simple firing squad. You drag him to a dusty military academy firing range. You aim a massive ZPU-4 anti-aircraft gun directly at his chest. The trigger is pulled. High-caliber rounds designed to shred fighter jets tear through human flesh. He is instantly obliterated into pink mist. The message to the surviving generals is deafening. The camera slowly pans across the cold, empty room. It stops and focuses on you sitting completely alone in a luxurious, oversized leather chair. The silence in the room is heavy and absolute. On the glowing monitor directly beside you, the words, "Play God," suddenly flash in a stark, handwritten, cartoonish font. The invisible puppet strings are permanently cut. The old guard is completely dead. You answer to no one. The bloody throne is finally yours. Level 4. You craft an impossible fiction. State media broadcasts a flawless narrative to the starving masses. They announce you do not sweat. They proclaim you do not use the restroom. You possess 0 human flaws. Elderly, decorated generals follow your every step. They furiously scribble your most mundane sentences into small leather notebooks. This is officially called on-the-spot guidance. You enforce total psychological compliance through the portrait law. Every single home in the nation must display your framed picture on a pristine wall. State inspectors conduct random unannounced checks with white gloves. If a residential building catches fire, a parent must save your framed portrait before grabbing their own screaming children. Letting your face burn is an unforgivable act of treason. Citizens who fail this test are immediately ripped from their communities. They are thrown directly into brutal labor camps. The paper face of the dictator is infinitely more valuable than human life. You are a living god demanding constant sacrifice. You build a reality distortion field. You enforce a strict shoot-to-kill order at the northern border. Nobody leaves the nightmare. More importantly, no information enters. You ban the global internet entirely. You replace it with a heavily monitored fake state intranet called Kwangmyong. A sleek, two-dimensional minimalist map of the world goes completely black over North Korea. The only light comes from a single glowing red server tower displaying your face. The information void is absolute. Citizens are dragged out of their homes and publicly executed for the crime of owning a smuggled USB drive. A single flash drive containing South Korean soap operas equals a death sentence. To ensure total control, you weaponize bloodlines. You enforce songbun. It is a ruthless, inescapable social classification system. A citizen's entire life is dictated entirely by how loyal their great-grandparents were to your grandfather. This invisible caste system dictates where they live. It decides what they eat. It determines if they go to school or if they vanish into the deep coal mines. By strictly controlling the national food distribution, you force the lower classes into backbreaking manual labor just to earn a single meager bowl of white rice. You hold the entire food supply hostage. Answer the question, what would you choose? Your family or your pulse? How do you stop a massive rebellion before it even starts? You do not just punish the individual traitor, you punish the entire bloodline. You enforce the 3 generations of punishment rule. If a starving man dares to criticize your economic policies, he does not just disappear. If he accidentally tears a newspaper bearing your face, the state machinery activates. His parents, his wife, and his young children are all abruptly packed into freezing cattle cars. They are shipped off to brutal political prison camps known as Qualiso. They are systematically worked to death in the freezing snow. By holding everyone's family hostage, you ensure absolute terrifying silence. The United Nations places the strictest economic sanctions in human history on your regime. The country is completely cut off from the global banking system. Legally, the state cannot import a single microchip or luxury good. But while your freezing citizens are literally boiling tree bark to survive the brutal winter and enduring endless rolling blackouts, you operate Office 39. It is your personal massive smuggling syndicate. You illegally import $2,000 bottles of Hennessy. You acquire a fleet of custom-armored Mercedes-Benz Maybach Pullmans. The juxtaposition is physically sickening. You are a god-king living in absolute gluttonous luxury, funded by a perpetually starving nation. You also maintain the Kipumjo, the pleasure squad. State security forces forcibly take young schoolgirls from their families across the impoverished countryside. They are isolated, evaluated, and trained to serve as personal captive entertainment for you and your elite aging generals. You take absolutely everything from your people. Your lavish lifestyle and nuclear apocalypse ambitions require endless capital. To fund the terror, the state transforms into a global digital mafia. You deploy the Lazarus Group. They are an elite, invisible army of highly trained, state-sponsored hackers. They do not use physical weapons. They sit behind glowing screens and execute massive, coordinated cyber heists. They ruthlessly infiltrate highly secure global bank networks like the SWIFT system. They drain international cryptocurrency exchanges in the dead of night. They steal billions of dollars from the outside world without ever crossing a physical border. You weaponize the very internet you completely deny your citizens, turning it into your ultimate untraceable ATM. Level 5. You step onto the international tarmac. You smile for the flashing cameras. You introduce your wife to the world. She carries premium Dior handbags. You project the comforting image of a modern, educated family man. The global media broadcasts the lie, but the warmth is a calculated mask. Back in Pyongyang, your sister operates in the deep shadows. She acts as your brutal, unhinged enforcer. She issues vicious, apocalyptic threats to the West so you can keep your hands clean. Your grip on the throne feels secure, but one loose end remains. Your exiled older brother breathes foreign air. You do not leave things to chance. You hire foreign assassins. They walk up behind him in a crowded Malaysian airport. They smear deadly VX nerve agent directly across his face. He collapses in agony. The last legitimate threat to your bloodline chokes to death on a public floor. You successfully build a functional nuclear shield. Your ballistic missiles can strike the American mainland. You have officially won the geopolitical game, but you live in suffocating, relentless fear. Paranoia slowly hollows you out. You refuse to fly. You travel exclusively inside, heavily armored, slow-moving green trains. When you finally hit foreign streets, You sit in the dark back seat of a smuggled, bulletproof Mercedes-Benz. 12 elite bodyguards in sharp black suits flank your vehicle. They jog in perfect synchronization to shield your body from sniper fire. You do not even trust foreign plumbing. You bring a personal, portable toilet on every single diplomatic trip. You refuse to leave biological traces behind. You know foreign intelligence agencies want to steal your stool. They want to analyze your DNA. They want to map your medical weaknesses. You trust absolutely no one. You stand high on a concrete balcony. You are older now. You are heavily overweight. Deep stress lines carve into your face. You watch massive nuclear missiles slowly roll through the plaza. The captive crowd below screams your name. Standing directly next to you is your 10-year-old daughter. She wears a miniature adult coat. She stares blankly at the passing weapons of mass destruction. Just as your father did to you, you are actively grooming the next generation. The cycle violently restarts. The golden cage closes again.